be recording, and thank you so much for being here. My name is Univa. I'm the founder of Exquisite Professionals Hub. And three things about us is we refine professionals, we elevate influence, and we create impact in the community of professionals. And three words that we lean on, that is engage, equip, and excel. So in summary, that is who we are. That is our tagline, basically, to engage, to equip, and to excel. So when you talk about engaging, we mean we engage professionals through intentional networking, and once that is done, then we are able to equip them with practical and relevant skills, and we position professionals to excel in the workplace and in business. We host conversations, professional development sessions like this one that you're in, and we also build powerful networking ecosystems that connect people to opportunities and not just to information. And we are also focused on investing in the next generation by preparing students and young professionals, mostly around the realities of the workplace through mentorship and employability training. And so this is more than a platform, it is actually a community. And as I had mentioned about our tagline, to engage, equip, and excel, that is who we are. And we are an ecosystem, and we are also a community of corporate professionals, entrepreneurs, business leaders, high potential professionals and young professionals, university students. And our mission is actually to gap that, to close the gap, or to bridge the gap between, getting out of school and how to actually excel in the market space, or rather in the professional space. And our pillars, we have three pillars, that is professional excellence, personal development, purpose, and impact. And we focus on raising the confidence of professionals, talking about how to excel in the space that you're in your industry, and building competence, anything or programs that can help professionals to grow. And that is why we actually have this webinar tonight. And as I had mentioned, in summary, what we do is we have leadership and professional development programs and forums like this one that you are seeing, that we have tonight, this particular webinar. And then we also have annual professional networking events. We're going to have one before the end of the year. And then I had mentioned about young professionals and bridging the gap between talent and actually excelling in the workspace, and also student employment readiness trainings. And so we are so glad to have this session tonight. It is our third edition of the Inspiring Excellence series. We had one in February, one in March, and now this is April. We have it once a month, and I'll tell you more about the upcoming sessions at the end of this webinar. And our topic today is branding, how to stand out in a crowded market. Our speaker, a visibility and influence coach. His name is David. Is more about what he does, but he has over a decade of senior leadership experience, and he combines his corporate leadership background with coaching expertise to create learning experiences, and just creating a space where professionals can grow. And that's why we are so excited to be partnering with David tonight. He's going to tell us more about himself as soon as we begin. So over to you, David. Let me see claps, the virtual claps, as David is sharing his screen. Yeah, let's welcome our speaker tonight. Thank you. Over to you, David. And as we continue with the session, I will be sharing our feedback form on the chat box. Please click on it, complete the form. We'd really love to hear from you so that we improve our sessions or we plan better for the coming sessions. Over to you, David. Thank you.
Thank you, Univa. And hi, everyone. It's a chilly night. I am joining from Kiambu. So if anyone is in Kiambu knows how chilly tonight is. But I'm really excited to be here today to talk about this topic that's really dear to my heart. This is work that I've done for so long. And I've seen a lot of applicants in the place that I used to work. I've sat in many interviewing tables and also been in places where we were discussing promotions and opportunities. But as always, there are so many people that are capable, right? And so when you make an application and you don't hear back from wherever place you applied, or a promotion opportunity came, but then they passed you, right? This is what this session is for. How do you brand yourself? And so that decision makers understand who you are, the value that you bring, and why they should hire you, promote you, give you that project that you've been eyeing. So today I'm going to introduce the visibility framework, how high performers get overlooked and how do you fix that? So before we begin, my name is David, as Univa has introduced me, and I am a certified professional coach where I own the David Njeri Leadership Practice, and that's my day-to-day. And what I do there is I help high-performing professionals become visible to people who make career decisions. And like I said, I've been behind the scenes, and I know what decision makers actually look out for, or what goes on in their mind when they are deciding who to give opportunities. So today I'm going to help you understand where you actually stand. We're going to have a couple of exercises. By the end of this session, you will have a map of how visible am I, what do I actually need to do, and what am I going to do over the next 30 days. So I hope that you're not going to leave here thinking, oh, I need to do more. No, it's how are you going to show the value that you create to decision makers wherever you are. And I did see a couple of people saying, talking about their businesses. I'm hoping you're going to pick something from here, but I'm not going to really touch a lot on how do you brand your business. That's another session that I think Univa, we need to come back and discuss how it looks. So the age-old question, why do capable people still get overlooked, right? I've had a lot of people complaining, I do the work. I'm really good at my job. I hit all the expectations that have been set for me. I hit all my KPIs. But then when there are opportunities, someone else, and sometimes who I don't think is really qualified, gets that job. Now, this is something that we've been told for like all our lives. And if you did it for 4, you've had this so many times. Work hard so that you get the fruits, right? Something like that. So the myth that has always been that results will speak for themselves. If I do great work, I am going to stand out. If I am really good at my job, I will be noticed, definitely. If my manager is thinking of, who's going to be the next team leader? Me, right? If I position myself in my CV and I put all my achievements, then my CV will speak out for itself. I will get selected. If I meet expectations, if I exceed expectations. But that is not how it works. That is not the reality. Our reality is that everyone is good. A lot of people are equally as good as you, if not better. So this means that effort alone is invincible. No one is going to look at that effort because it's a crowded market. It's what decision makers actually see, their perception of you. And so that performance, that good work, those KPIs that exceed expectations has to be supported by something else. And that is what we are going to be discussing today, visibility. When you have performance and visibility, then recognition and opportunity is going to follow you. I like to say that visibility is what helps you translate your value to decision makers so that they're able to perceive you as someone who is worthy of this opportunity. Let me take a second here. If you're going to just read it, if the right people don't understand your value, then it doesn't exist at the decision-making level, right? Let's say it's a table where we are deciding, these opportunities, it's a new project. We want to introduce AI to our organization. Who should lead this project? If decision makers are not able to tell that, Univa is really good at AI or innovation, you're not going to be discussed at that table, right? So, visibility is your leadership. And sometimes when you talk about visibility, people see it as, I need to self-promote. I need to tell everyone what I'm doing. I need to write so many blog posts or LinkedIn. No, I want us to rephrase that visibility is not necessarily self-promotion. For me, I believe visibility is communication of value. And if you don't communicate your thinking, then you are definitely limiting your leadership. So at the end of the session today, honestly, I want you to understand why performance alone is not enough, how visibility actually works, and then how do you position yourself for opportunities. And to start, I'm going to introduce this framework that I created. It's called the Visibility Operating System. And this is, I'm going to take you through a journey until the end. So, if you want to start creating your visibility in any organization or even in your business, you need to define your lane. What are your strengths? What value do you bring? And then is actually demand. Then craft your message. How do you position yourself? Map the room. Who is important? Who is your stakeholder? Who's your target audience? And then build a rhythm so that you have a visibility mechanism where you are reaching out to them in a predictable way. And then finally, ask for the room. And this is really interesting. You need to be able to self-advocate. If you don't tell the universe what you are looking for, then no one is going to hand an opportunity to you. So visibility. When you talk about visibility, what is visibility? Visibility is really making your work, how you think, your judgment and contribution seen by the right stakeholders. And you're going to notice I'm using the word right stakeholders a lot, and we're going to discuss how that looks like, who's right, and who is someone that's, they can know what I'm working on, but you don't need to waste your time there. Now, when you are visible, and then this is repeated, this consistency. I am good at my work. I'm good at data. I'm good in customer relations. It creates trust. And then when trust is created, when opportunities arise, right? When there are roles opening up, whether it's external or internally, when there are stretch projects or some strategic responsibilities, let's say someone wants you to represent your company somewhere, that's when they now say your name. Maureen, Maureen should be the one doing this. And so the accelerator here, the accelerator is when you get promoted to a new role, or when you move to another role, when you become a manager, you start all over again. Then you have to show that this is the value that I'm bringing in this new role. So it is a loop. It never ends. Once you move up, you start again. So now that we understand how that system looks like, what's next? A lot of people want to be visible, but then without clarity. So just making a lot of noise. I want to be everywhere, but that's not how you need to do that. What you need to do is define your lane. You cannot be known for everything. And when you are known for everything, then something is wrong, right? Jack of all trades, something like that. So I love a good Venn diagram. So when I was like, when I was creating this, I was like, yes, the intersection of the circles. So first of all, define your strengths, understand your strengths. What are you actually really good at? And then your value. What's the impact that you bring to a particular role? And then you have to think about the demand. What does your organization prioritize? What is leadership talking about? what is being rewarded, what's being recognized. Now that beautiful Venn diagram, that's where the intersection is where your visibility lane lies. Now, I want us to do a quick exercise, and here you're going to type in the chat, and I want you to complete this sentence. Everyone, this is a really good exercise. Even if you don't type it in the chat, just write it somewhere. When, in brackets, situation or problem happens, I'm the person who, what you naturally do well. So I'm going to give an example as you continue writing and typing. Let's hear the click, 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 clacks. So, when projects are ambiguous, I'm the person who structures the chaos into a clear roadmap. Or I'm the person who gets everyone in a room and leads the project. This is now understanding what are you good at, what's your lane, what is your strength. When there's a customer escalation, I'm the person who does issue analysis and reports the findings to leadership. Just giving you 30 seconds, type it, and let's see. And as we are doing that, please, as I continue speaking, you can always throw it in the chat or write it as part of your notes for the night. The exercises are going to build on each other. Now, the lane that you've written down, this is my lane, really good at, yes, Farida, I'm the person who gets called on when a task is at risk. That is your lane. Now, it's a couple. Univa, do you want to read them for me?
Yes, sure. So you've already, so I actually wrote mine is when people need to prepare for presentations and the person they run to. Someone says, steps up with solutions as I run the department. I'm the person who's called when there is a communication crisis. Yeah, those are the ones we have so far.
Awesome. I love hearing all your, how you position yourself or who you are, what you are known for. So let's talk about positioning statement. A positioning statement is you taking the agency and telling people how they should perceive you, how they should interpret your work. This is now where branding comes in, personal branding. This is who I want to be known as. So when you are creating your positioning statement, like when I started, I said, I am a certified professional coach and I help high-performing professionals with their visibility so that they get the careers that they want, right? That's my positioning statement. So I help who? Who is your target audience? Who do you help? Who do you work with, right? And then what's your contribution? What's the value they're getting from what you are doing, your action, by what is it that you do, the how. So again, really quickly, don't overthink it. This is just draft 1.0, and then you're going to do it to perfect it later. Univ, I believe you're going to share these slides with everyone so that they can see what's up. So a good lane that I had used there. Yes. Okay, perfect. In my previous slide, when projects are ambiguous, I'm the person who structures the chaos. So you're positioning here. I help cross-functional teams execute ambiguous projects by creating roadmaps and accountability structures. So those are two examples. So the formula, I help who, do what, what's your lane, by, how do you do it? That's your positioning statement. So next time you are called into a meeting and there's a couple of people and these are leaders, you don't say, oh, hi, I'm David and I'm a coach. No. Hi, I'm David and I serve clients. You have to position yourself so that when people leave that room, they're not thinking of you by your title, they're thinking of you by your value and what you can do for them. Because inherently, we are really selfish. And so if I have an ambiguous project, I want to think, oh, Dorcas is great to invite her so that, because that's how they position themselves in my eyes. So a positioning statement is not a job title, but rather a lens through which People who make decisions look at your work or view you, see your value. Okay, now that your value is clear, and I hope you are writing that down as we continue, the next problem that we want to look at is most people communicate activity. We don't communicate the impact of our actions, of our activities, things that we do on a day-to-day, right? So I have this step kind of thing where, and these leaders, anyone is a leader, whether you have that leader as a title or not. But I like to say, take leadership of your own career, right? So leaders are not recognized for, they are recognized for impact, not for activity. So at the very beginning, this is where most people are. Some are not. When you are communicating your activity, when you say, I organize team meetings, I organized a team meeting, I did 30 cases, I served 4 people. How you're perceived is you're an executor. That's what you do. And then level 2, you start communicating how. I structured the meeting agenda and aligned inputs. That's the how. What did you do? That activity. I solved 10 cases in 1 hour by organizing them, like by whatever means. That's now you start becoming known as a coordinator. And then the final level is where you are communicating impact. So I structured the team meeting to align priorities, which reduced cross-team confusion by 20%. I helped, I worked on 2 customer complaints and created a workflow, which means we are going to reduce our customer complaints by 10%. And then here you become known as a leader. Your contributions are seen on how they move the team forward or the business. Very quickly, this is a framework that I also developed, the CAR framework. It's not unique to me. I didn't engineer this, but just made sure that it's you can easily follow when you are communicating your impact. So context, action, and result. First thing first, narrate the context. What was the problem? What was the challenge that you solved? What was at stake? What was the risk? And then the action. What did you do to solve the problem? What did you do to mitigate that risk? Here, keep it factual, right? And neutral. People see your work if it's within the same organization. And then the result. What was the outcome of your action? What changed? Do you see how beautiful that is? The context, the situation. This is the action that I took, and then this was the result. When you do that, you are now communicating your impact. And then when you communicate it like that, you also reveal your judgment. And when people see your judgment, they're like, oh yeah, this guy knows what they need to do. So if something similar comes up, I am going to ask David, can you right? It's because they're seeing how you're thinking and your logic. All right. Then another quick activity, because today it's all about activities. Let's do this activity to impact in 60 seconds. Can I do that? So 30 seconds. Think of something awesome that you did last week. I need to have a timer. All right. Yeah. It might be at work, might be within your team, just your role, your business. All right. Now, in your piece of paper, and you can put it in the chat as well. Let's use our CAR framework. What was the context? That awesome thing that you did, what was the context? Maureen, your 30 minutes are about to end. I don't know who Maureen's note taker is. So what was the context? Where did it happen? And then what was the action? What did you do? And then when you did what you did, what changed? That's the CAR. So write it down. And I have two beautiful examples over there. Client was confused about pricing. I built a visual comparison tool. They signed the same week. The C, the A, and the R. Customer was frustrated about order delays. That's the context. I analyzed the workflow, automated the process. That's what I did. That's the action. Client orders are now fulfilled within 24 hours. That's the result. And you can see how that impacts the business. When you communicate it like that, trust you me, people are going to be like, oh, wonderful. Like you can just see the difference between, oh yeah, yesterday 2 customers were frustrated, I dealt with it. Or a lot of times people don't even say what they did. When you go into like a one-on-one with your manager, they ask you, so how was the week? You're like, yeah, great week, yeah, nothing much. And then you move on. Come promotion time, you're wondering what is going on. And I was really like I was a rock star the whole year. Okay, did everyone create their own activity to impact? Do you have it in your piece of paper? And then be honest, this is all about you. In coaching, I like to say, it's about you, it's not about me, right? Okay, now, even strong communication is not enough, right? You've learned about the CAR framework where you are communicating the impact, positioning where you are leading with your value. You're very intentional about it. But if you're saying it to the wrong room, the wrong people, none of that matters. So let's look at how you can actually map who you talk to, right? The people that have power over your opportunities, those are the most important. And who are they? So I have a very busy slide, but don't worry about this slide. You can take time to read it later. This is the stakeholder visibility matrix. And here you look at, what is this? Is this the x-axis? Yes, x-axis is the level of power of people within your organization. And then the y-axis is how visible are you to them? Do they know what you are working on? Do they know you? Do they know your name? Right? So for high power, this comes from people who work in other departments like the IT. You don't even work really close. They don't know your work. To your boss, your boss's boss, the CEO. But sometimes we're like, don't email the CEO. But yeah, so you get what I'm saying. So the power of stakeholder, x-axis, visibility frequency, y-axis. What is the matrix? What do you call that? The quadrant that you want to be in, that we actually want us to look at today, is the red and the green quadrants. The red one, this is where you are now at risk. So they have a lot of power, a lot of say over your career, over your business, over your trajectory in a certain situation, but they do not have visibility into who you are. Remember, top leaders, when they make decisions, they really don't care about the details. They're given summaries by people who report to them, right? So even when opportunities come up, they don't know the details. They just know, oh, yeah, Univa, I know she's, she leads this. That is in a risk zone. High power, they don't know who you are, what your value is, what you bring to the table. Where you want to be is the green zone, the strategically visible. So high power, and they have a lot of visibility into who you are, the value that you bring, your thinking, your judgment, right? And these are your managers. You want your managers, senior leaders, project sponsors, other influential partners within the organization. You want them to know you because they influence promotion, resources, they can advocate for you, opportunities. So you want to be sharing outcomes, updates, your impact, judgment, and all of that. And then on this other side, I have a quick tip for everyone. Always use your manager to amplify your visibility upward. Your managers, like let's say your manager, then there's a senior manager. The senior manager is more likely to believe the manager than to believe you. That's just the truth, right? Because they have a lot of contact. So use your manager to propel you upwards. And then balance your visibility across internal and external channels. What do I mean by this? Visibility is great, and you want to be able to, show people your work, your value, your thinking, your insights. You do it two ways. One is internally, where you work at your current workplace, that's short term, and then externally. So for internally, this is at the work, you're thinking, where can I talk about my impact? CAR, performance reviews, meetings, one-on-ones, EBRs, MBRs, QBRs. That's where visibility needs to be seen about you. And the purpose here is this is where you influence your own career trajectory, because the people there will influence your promotion, right? Trust. I want to work with Dorcas. I want to work with Mercy. I'm just saying the names that I'm seeing on my screen. And then externally, this is where you think, LinkedIn, is LinkedIn the best place for you? Do you have visibility in LinkedIn? Industry forums, when there are networking thingies, do you go to your industry forums? For industry WhatsApps, industry groups, speaking engagements, that's where you build your own visibility. Like today, a lot of you maybe might not know who I am, but you're not going to know who David is, right? I'm building my own visibility. And the purpose here is long-term positioning. Unless you want to, you're in government and you're going to stay in the same job for forever, but you might also have other businesses out there, right? So here you're expanding your network and you're attracting future opportunities. But the thing that you need to realize, just have 2 or 3 spaces where you show up consistently. If you have more than 2, sometimes it can become exhausting. But if you can cross-post, let's say a LinkedIn article, and then you can do your magic, create an IG carousel, TikTok carousel, or TikTok video, you can cross-post between IG and Facebook, right? Then that's okay, as long as you've automated that. If you try to be everywhere, you are going to get exhausted, and then you stop being consistent. This one quickly, how do you structure a predictable rhythm of showing up, right? If it's unstructured, how you send your signals of your own work to people, to, like from the shareholder metrics, you're going to get lost. So you're going to stop being intentional with how you are showing up. So daily, this is something very easy, small, just low friction signals. You're sharing an insight in a meeting, you're sending a Slack message or Teams message, right? And then weekly, this is where you want to be to use the CAR framework to update your manager. You can Slack them, send them a message or a WhatsApp message. Maybe it's a one-on-one, right? Here, you also want to share an insight externally or internally. LinkedIn, Reddit, Substack, right? Wherever you want your visibility, wherever your target audience is, your stakeholders, that's where you're going to be reaching out to them. And then monthly, you're now presenting data to leadership, right? Industry networks. Every month I have to attend one. I have to contribute in a WhatsApp, an industry WhatsApp, industry group, right? Monthly coffee chat. Let's say you have 4 people that you want to be talking to. Let's say, of course, let's say it's a senior manager in a department you are eyeing, your own department, and then you can tell them, I want to have a running quarterly one-on coffee chat with you, 30 minutes. That's where you sell yourself or create a relationship, not sell yourself. And you have it in such a way that every month you are speaking to at least one. So let's do another quick exercise. And here we're going to take 5 minutes. I did see a quick message, Unive, in the chat.
Yes, it's a question. Let me just get it. So someone is asking, how do you navigate a situation where the manager does not want to advocate for you?
That happens a lot. And it's a whole strategy. I say your manager is your manager unless you leave the team. So you have to find a way of creating a relationship with that manager. And a lot of times I say, just keep it professional. Don't overthink it. Don't overdo it. What's needed, that's what you focus on. What's their priority, that's what you focus on. But if the relationship is gone, way too gone, then you need to think of how do I change teams? How do I change, yeah, actually just teams, or suck it up. But yeah, I think you can talk to me and I can help you navigate that, because creating relationships, there are various ways that you can do that. And I have a couple of options for you. So 5 minutes, let's map out your stakeholders. We are going to combine this because I see we are running out of time. Who has power in your organization and who currently sees your work? So let's start with the first one. Write names quickly in your piece of paper. Who has power in your organization? And don't think of other people. Think of people who can influence your career or opportunities for you, projects, resources, HR, if money is also, like that's person you want to have a good relationship with. Um, Project sponsors. Have you written that down? The next, from your list, who currently sees your work? Who knows what you're working on? The intention here is we are mapping who you need to be visible to. Are we done? Thumbs up if good to go. Okay. Dorcas, your project, that supervisor, project supervisor, I just flashed really quickly. Then step 2, let's identify gaps. From your list, who are you, where do you have a lot of visibility, but that person has low power? Who amongst your list doesn't know your work? You are invincible too, but they are very instrumental in your own project progression. You can just do like a quick check mark, on your list, just quickly. I have a very beautiful quote down there. Most people don't lack capability, they lack visibility in the right rooms. Are you done? I know I'm rushing here because I also want to have enough time for questions if there are any. Now, this is a reflection that I'm going to leave you with. Ask yourself this, think about it tonight, and then tomorrow, just be honest with yourself. Who realize they are invincible to key decision makers? And then who did you realize you're invincible to that actually matters? I know a lot of you don't have your videos on, but I can see you smiling, a knowing smile, like, yeah, our senior manager does not even know my name. Now, I want you to define 3 moves as our last exercise for this section. Next week, when you go back to work, who's that one person that you need to increase your visibility with? Ask them for a coffee chat. Say hi to them when you meet them in the hallway. Send a text message, right? But the thing with visibility, with that, don't play politics. It's just creating a relationship with them, right? And then when you're talking to them, your work naturally comes out. Which room do you need to enter? Which conversation? Are there projects that are ongoing, but you are not in there and you want to be in there? Then which kind of signal will you send that person? Are you going to send them an email? Are you going to send them a Slack message, a WhatsApp message? Tell them, let me buy you lunch. Lunch. Okay. Now that you are visible, doing really well, everyone knows you. Does that mean that you now get the opportunities? You now get selected? A lot of people are visible, right? They communicate really well. You see their names popping up here and there. Leaders know who they are, but they're still not given opportunities. Visibility creates familiarity, but not confidence in your capability. I can know who Univa is because I'm always seeing Univa. Like during presentations, I hear her name. People say really nice things about Univa, but I don't know what she actually brings to the table. What's her value? What's her impact? If I add her to my project, what happens to that project? Do I need to also micromanage that project? Will we meet deadlines, right? So selection requires one more move. And before you get to the move, quickly signals that show that you're now becoming credible. Number one, there's measurable results. There's evidence. People can see your impact. Your impact is measurable, right? Maybe it's an efficiency gain or a risk that you mitigate. You know how to, spot risks. Then number two, people say your name. There's testimonials about your work, right? And this is where you are not, a room that you are not in. People can say, oh yeah, Dorcas is amazing. She knows how to work with data. She will transform your data into beautiful dashboards. Strategic associations. And this is being connected to highly visible projects in an organization. Think about it. Let's say there was an AI transformation project in your organization. These tend to be really big, and people know who are in these projects. And when you are visible like that, the chances of being asked to join another team or another project are really high. Or an influential leader. If David is to walk into a room and I'm with Univa, people associate that. Again, not politics, just having great professional relationships, okay? Then finally, demonstrated proof. So this is now the final piece, self-advocacy. And this is where people forget. They don't advocate for themselves. They are not agents. They are objects where you wait. You're visible. I'm great. And then you wait for opportunities to come to you. So the missing signal here is that decision makers need to see that you are ready. They need to know your direction and hear your intent. Let me give you a really nice example. People who work in customer service, I don't know how many are here. I used to work in customer service, so my examples are within that area. Someone who maybe solves a lot of cases, 100 of them a day, while others are solving 50 cases. They will be visible because I'll be like, yes, Universe solves so many. She's really good. Her quality is amazing. But I will just keep her there. I'm like, yeah, Univa is our demolisher of these cases. She's going to deal with these customers, but I will keep you there. But I will love you. It's because I am not sure if Univa wants to be something more than case demolisher. You have to come to me and tell me, this is what using the CAR framework, and then letting me know what you want. Lead with value, state your direction, very important. I want to take on more responsibility. In the next 1 year, this is where I want to be, and then prove the alignment. Again, you remember the formula? Visibility, performance, and then visibility, right? Self-advocate. Now, would your manager say your name? Everyone, close your eyes. I know you don't have your videos on, but just close your eyes. Imagine your manager is asked, who should lead a project that you really want? Univa, what do you want to lead? Like for exquisite professionals, like I'm a corporate client, I've come with, I need training for 50 of my staff. If I asked your manager at Exquisite Professionals, would they volunteer you as their lead trainer? Now, on a scale of 1 to 5, how confident are you that they are going to say your name? Again, it's a crowded market. You are 50 of you, 100 of you. If you ever applied for a position in LinkedIn, you always see 100 applicants have already applied. We used to get like close to 1,000 applications for some of the roles that we were advertising. So crowded market. Now, if you've scored yourself 1 to 2, they don't know you want this. They don't know. You need to start advocating for yourself. 3, they might think of you. Maybe they know you've ever mentioned in one-on-one 3 years ago, or in your last appraisal, you said, maybe I'm thinking of becoming a director one day. So that's a 3. Then 4 to 5, you are ready. You've already told them that, yes, this is what I want. These are the projects that I want to work on. This is the department I want to go to. So in the chat quickly, what's one action you're going to take this week to move up 1 point? If you are 2, how do you go 3? If you are 3, how do you go 4? 4, 5. By the time we are leaving, if you live with one thing, remember this. Your career does not grow based on the work you do. It grows based on how well your value is understood by decision makers. That's really important. You've seen the system and you've seen, have I taken you on a journey? Thumbs up, thumbs down, like, oh, so. Be consistent with this. Be consistent. Start communicating your value like a leader before you're given the title. So at this point, you have clarity, you know your gap, you know what to do. The one question is, will you execute consistently enough to be remembered? Very important to be remembered, not just remembered because you are visible, but also that this is what you want. So if you want to support in building this into your career strategy, this presentation, I've actually lifted it from my book called Stop Being Overlooked. I know it says here for managers, but it can be for everyone. Again, I said, what is leadership? Everyone is their own leader. You are in charge of your own career. Be an agent, don't be an object. Don't wait for things to happen to you. Actively make those things happen. Those are my socials, David Jerry Leadership, Instagram, TikTok. If you want to talk to me, I do offer 45 minutes free discovery session just to see what's your intention. So you can book that through calendly.com. If you go to my IG, you can also get that from the link in my bio. And then that's so the program that I actually offer is called the Visibility and Influence Program for one-on-one. And then in June, I'm going to start a cohort, just a small group of 10, where people are going to learn from each other as well as from me as the coach, where I'm going to guide that session. So thank you so much. This has been really wonderful, and I've loved all your reactions and your chat messages. I'm going to read them now after this. Yeah, thank you so much.
Wow. I was just taking a second to take that in. Wow. Thank you so much, David. Why don't you just put your hands together, the virtual claps, and just appreciate David. Thank you so much. And if you want David to be back, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Yeah. Um, Thank you so much, David. That was, I wish we had 2 hours. Feels like you still had a lot to tell us, but thank you. I have shared a link for the feedback form. Please fill the feedback form. We want to hear from you. If you want David to be back, please just use that feedback form, and then I will share it with him for evidence that we want him to be back. Thank you so much. For more information, please reach out to him. I will share his details in the email that I'll share with you after this session. Reach out to him if you want more information about visibility and the coaching he's been talking about. He's the best person to actually do it. As we come to the end of the session, if you have any question, please just use the chat box to write it there, or you can write it on the feedback form, and then we'll be able to answer you as I send the email after the session with a summary of what the session has been about. But also, I will request that you be part of the Exquisite Professionals Hub channel, WhatsApp channel. I'm sharing the link in the chat box. Please click on it and join the WhatsApp channel. We have a lot of conversation going on in there. Please follow us, follow our socials. And thank you so much once again, David. So we've been having these sessions every last Thursday of the month. This is our 3rd edition, a very successful edition. Thank you once again, David. Branding for success, how to stand out in a crowded market. And we have focused on visibility. Now, the next session is going to be on the 28th of May, the last Thursday of May, and we're going to talk about elevating your personal brand. So we've talked about visibility. Then what next? You don't want to miss that session. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in that session. And as we close off, I also want to appreciate everyone who has joined us today. You know, many people leave such sessions feeling very inspired, but at the same time unchanged. So I hope that this session is going to be helpful to you, or has been helpful to you. And in the next 1 month, please just do the exercises. Looking forward to hearing, feedback that you have been promoted, or, you're more visible and you're moving up the ladder, which is what you want to do. And so please don't just let this session go like that. So I would like to ask you a question. Will you continue being excellent and remain invisible? Or are you going to start being intentional about how you show up? You can answer, think about it tonight or this weekend. We're going to have a long weekend. And now performance alone is not enough. Visibility is what puts you in the room. So the question that I leave you with is this. Now that you understand visibility, what are you going to do with it? And in the next edition, we are going to move from being seen to becoming the obvious choice. So join us as we unpack the next topic, which is elevating your personal brand from visibility to opportunity. This conversation is just getting started. Thank you once again. It's been an awesome time. It's exactly 9 p.m. and I hope that you, if you have any question, a quick question, if anyone has a pressing question, I think we have a minute, we can answer it. Please follow Exquisite Professionals Hub. I am the founder. My name is Univa, and I'm so glad to be creating this space for you. We are going to be having more of these webinars, and this is every month. So please have this marked on your calendar on the 28th of May. Follow us on WhatsApp channel, Exquisite Professionals Hub, on LinkedIn, Exquisite Professionals Hub, and also you can send us an email, or you can use that phone number to reach out to us. Thank you once again. It's exactly 9 p.m. Thank you, David. We can put our hands together again for David. We really appreciate. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Thank you for joining. Looking forward to seeing all of you in the next session. It's going to be bigger and better. We have our speaker has confirmed to be available on that day. And so I'm looking forward to seeing all of you. Please continue sharing this with your friends, with your relatives, colleagues, everybody. We're going to grow together. So thank you once again. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy your long weekend, and keep thinking and reflecting on what we've talked about today. Thank you. Feel free to leave the webinar. Thank you, everyone.